Yes, in today's class, we are going to discuss about some of the programming constructs that is used in shell scripting. Starting with the loop constructs, how we can use loop statements, etc. So we are going to discuss now. Before that, so we have to discuss about referencing variables. When I say referencing variable, so as we know, say for example, so look into this particular terminal window. So I can have a variable, something like initial prompt. I can give a name to the shell variable, and I can assign some value to it. Let me assign one value, say for example here A, B, C. The value is assigned. In case if I assign a value to a variable, my variable myvar, so I can display the content of it using an echo command. Echo, then write the dollar symbol, then write variable name. This is how I can reference a variable. This is the normal way of referencing one particular variable. Now look into the flexibility. In case if I write echo dollar variable name my var, if I write def, so it will not go print anything because my var def, this is considered as a new variable, so it will not print any values. Now let us make a small change in the way in which variable is referenced. In case if I write dollar, then if I write a flower bracket here, separate out the defined variable now. Now look into the output. It is something like a concatenation of strings. Dollar, flower bracket and a variable name. Then write some string, whatever it may be. I have written here def. A, B, C, D, E, F is displayed as a single string. Similarly, if I type, note down these things, okay? Note down the way in which the variables are referenced in the shell program or in the bash command window. So another method of accessing it is say echo, then if I write a double quote, then write a dollar symbol, my var, this is the variable name, end it in this particular way. Within the double quotes, if you write a dollar my var, look into the item that is going to print. It is going to print value stored in my var. Okay, value stored in my var. It is very similar to echo dollar my var. Echo dollar my var. It is going to print ABC. You can see that here also in the screen. If you closely look into that in the first command, whatever we worked with, look into the cursor point here. So same effect here also. This is how we are referencing this variable names here. And to this my var, if you append some string def, you can do this also. Basically what we are going to learn here is that, one sec. If you write if you assign any variable, dollar my var or nothing but echo dollar my var is very much equal to echo double quote and a variable name. It's very much equal to that. This is the one of the important point to remember while referencing a variable. Say once again, say for example, you can write already my var equal to abc now. Now we have seen different ways of referencing it. In case if I write, so I will repeat once again, dollar my var gives you the value of the variable. This is the one method. Second method of referencing that my variable is write dollar symbol and within the flower bracket my var. That also gives you the same value. It is equal to that. Even if you write echo, look into this very carefully. If you write a flower bracket here, then if you write dollar my var, then you look into what is going to display. Flower bracket is also displayed along with the variable name echo dollar my var. You remember these aspects. And if you write echo my var without dollar symbol also, if you write it, the same string, whatever you type, echo is nothing but something like a printf command. My var command is displayed as it is. So now just guess what happens here with the double quote. My var without any dollar symbol, you're going to get the same. Echo my var is equal to, it is very much equal to echo, and even you can enclose it with the double quote also, my var. Value of the my var variable is displayed only when you use it with the dollar symbol. Like this. Now ABC is displayed. Now look into one more shell character that changes the meaning of a dollar symbol also. Look into echo, then write double quote just like a previous command. Now before double you can write a slash symbol, then you write dollar my var. Okay, these things may look very simple or very boring also, but these are the very important characteristics while and important tips for us while writing the programs further in the shell scripts. Now when you write like this, look into this command very carefully. Now there is a dollar. You may expect that the value stored in my var, that is ABC, to be printed. Instead, this prints dollar my var. What happens here is that in this particular command, The moment you write a slash here, this dollar loses its original meaning. Actually, dollar meant for some very specific specific reasons to display the content of variable stored in that, the content of value stored in the variable. But now the moment you write a slash symbol, the next character, that is a dollar, loses its original value. It is treated as a simple character. The original meaning of the dollar is undone. Okay, this is what you have to remember. And next one, sorry, lost the screen. One sec. If you write echo, then again dollar my var, actually a variable name. But if you write def, my var def is considered as a new different variable for which we didn't assign any value. So it will not give any output. Remember, this is not an error. Actually, it displays one variable is declared. If I speak in terms of C language, my var def is a separate variable, and its value is 0 or nothing is there in that. So this is not an error condition. So nothing is displayed. That is the meaning here. Now if I write echo, then again if I write dollar, if I write a variable name, my var, actually this stands for ABC. Then as we seen before, if I write something else, this def is considered as a separate string, def, gh, j, whatever it may be. Values to the string stored in my var, that is ABC, is concatenated with the def, gh variable. This is the characteristics while referencing a variable. And another characteristics in referring, while making reference to the variable, I'll try to clear the screen now with a clear command. Clear is a shell command to clear the screen. Now you are going to get a new terminal window. Now here with the echo command, let me print the value of variable my var. We have already assigned the value ABC in the screen. In case if I write once again dollar my var, now look into the output. Dollar my var stands for ABC. So this is repeated twice. My var, value of my var, ABC, that is the output. Okay. Similarly, you can write this same, you can cause the same effect by writing flower brackets also, as we seen before, echo. Then if you write dollar, you can write a dollar, then you write flower bracket, write my var, close the flower bracket, it stands for ABC. Once again repeat dollar, you are going to get the same effect. So now let us try to change the value of my var variable. Now I will assign a value something like this, my var equal to, within double quote, A, B, C. I will put it in this way. Now if I try to print echo dollar my var, see, there are multiple spaces in between, but it will be replaced with the single space. Even if you have multiple space between A, B and C while assigning the variable, only one space is maintained. This is also one of the useful characteristic later while we are processing strings. Next, we need to look into how we can control execution of a shell script. Execution of a shell script can be controlled like a C program. C program's execution flow is always controlled using proper loop statements. Loop statement, etc. help us to change the sequence of execution of a C program. Similarly, there are loop statements, if statements, etc., which will change the sequence of the C program. In the same way, the shell also provides for you some of the looping constructs. Now let us discuss about what are those looping constructs available for use. First of all, we need to look into the looping or iterations, performing the same operation on a number of files. In case if you want to perform any kind of operation like WC, counting the number of characters in a file, finding length of a file, etc., onto multiple files. If you want to repeat the same operations, then you can go for looping statements. Performing any operation on a given number of items also can be done with the looping statements. Now look into, very carefully look into the syntax of that particular looping constructs. For that, now look into the screen here. Let us discuss about, you can simultaneously, you can copy this general syntax also. For any programs, for any for loop, it uses a syntax, say for example, for, then some variable. We'll use a different color here to indicate it is a variable. In, this is the reserved word for and in. Then after that you can go for list of items, user defined. You can give list of items. For loop begins. Then say do. Here also do is also a reserved word. And then you can write different commands here. Any commands, any loop statements, command 1, command 2, etc. until last command. After writing number of statements, programming statements within the loop statements. You have to end loop statement with the done. This is the general statement or a general syntax for a for loop statement. Now let us discuss this with the how to use this particular general syntax. Note down this general syntax in your notebook. Now, actually, we can use it for looping over different files. In case if you want to search for a different loop over different files for doing something, you can use this for loop statement to say loop over files. You can search through different files by writing, say, for example, for, then you can write a file name, any or some variable name, then then you write star, then do, then write set of commands, then done. Whereas in this case also, for is a reserved word, in is a reserved word, star stands for everything, do is a reserved word, done is also a reserved word. Okay. And it is also possible in case if you want to file name, if you want to search through only a particular type of files, say, so for example, only with the PDF, then you write dot here, and then you can write PDF star dot PDF. Star stands for anything, all the files which ends with the PDF, or you can write all the star dot doc for MS Word files, etc. If you write a simple star, all files will be searched. On all those files, you can repeat same action, whatever you want to perform. Those actions you can define within the loop statement, within the body of the for loop statement. This is the general syntax for loop statement. Now let us practice these codes. How to understand this particular loop statement. Having studied the general syntax, now let us, for example, write one simple code. So actually we can embed this in the shell script also. It is also possible to embed it within the shell script. Even without the shell script, in the command line also you can try these commands. So let us try with this in a shell command. Hope you are watching the screen now. Now in this particular command, so how to use for loop? You can write for, say for example, I will write use one variable. I will use fn for file name or f name, any variable you can name it, for and variable name, and after that a reserved word in. Then let me write a regular expression star. For all the files, this star indicates that for all the files in the current working directory. That is the meaning of star here. Now remember, in the shell command, if I write this and if I such a command and if there is no semicolon and if I press enter key, you can look into one special character here, greater than symbol is displayed here. That means that a continuation. Okay, it is a continuation. You can continue typing the rest of the part. As for the syntax, rest of the command is a do statements. And within the do statement, in the next line, you can say, for example, echo dollar f name. Echo dollar f name. And then you say, you end your for loop statement with the done. As per the for loop syntax, this code is fine. For some variable name, f name, in is a reserved word, star, in every files, star stands for every files, do, for loop begins. In each turn, in each execution of this loop statement, it will print the value assigned to f name. Automatically, one by one, file names will be assigned to variable f name. And that assigned file name is displayed with this echo command. Look into the output, just press enter key. Here you can see that there are three files, mm.sh, mm1.sh. And also look into the nature. If in case, if I write, see this is the previous command, so each line is separated by semicolon here. Okay. Everything is put together in a single line with a semicolon. For fname in star, second line is do echo $fname, etc. By pressing up or down keys, you will get history, previous commands in your command line. You need not type it again if you want to repair it or correct it or to add something new. Now I want to add one simple statement here to the echo, one option, -n. Now what happens? Look into the way in which previous execution displayed file names. Each file name is displayed in separate lines. Now, if you want to avoid output to be printed in separate lines, if you want to, you have to say, pass one parameter to the echo that is called -n. Don't go to next line every time. Okay. So that is the meaning. If you do that and press enter key, all these file names are displayed in a single line. mm.sh, mm1.sh is displayed in this way. Okay, this is also one of the point to be noted. Echo -n, what is the meaning? Each output will be printed in the same line. In case if you want command prompt immediately after executing the program to be printed in the next line, after printing fname, semicolon, you can add one more line that is simply a blank echo, like a endl statement in C++. Okay, next, go to the next line. Then look into the way in which output is displayed. Output is displayed in separate lines. In this way. Now look into what is the use of this program. So whenever we study this, we are studying this with some specific purpose in mind. Now let us try to write one very useful program. Now if you look into this, you have 3 files in this. Now assume that you want to take a backup of all these files. Then how you can write a program? So now look into this, the same previous program for all the files in the star. Instead of displaying something here, now instead of printing it, now you can write some very useful program statements. For all files. Then start do. Then write, say for example, cp command. You want to take a backup. Cp copy command for each file. Okay. You say copy $fname, the first file. You copy to another file, say for example $fname, same file name, but with an extension of, give some change extension. I will say for example back to indicate backup. Then I will finish this loop statement by writing done. Now there are 3 files. Initially for fname, mm is assigned. cp mm2 mm.bak. One copy is made and that copy's extension is .bak. You can change it also, change the extension also, doesn't matter. That's it. Now if you look into ls command, you look into these contents here. You can get mm.pac, mm.sh, mm.sh.bak. mm.sh is the original file and it's copied with the .bak extension. One simple for loop makes a copy of all the files, n number of files. You may not sometimes know how many number of files are there in the present working directory. In that case also, it is possible for you to change the file name of all the files in the folder with a common extension. Then after that, you can, in case if you want to move all these files ending with .bak to some other folder, you can insert one after out of the loop statement, you can add one more command, move to such and such folder. Say for example, I may write mkdir backup. One folder is created. Now I can write to move from the present working directory all the files having .bak as an extension to backup. Then you say ls, you will get only the original files. There is a folder called backup here. You can see that, which is displayed in blue color. This is a folder. Now if you are interested in looking into that content, you can say cd change directory to backup. You can find out all that copies, duplicate copies, moved to a separate folder. Okay, anyway, this is about how to do some useful operation, with these things. But now our intention is to study how loop statement works. So just now for the moment, you just focus on the programming constructs. Okay. In this way, with the for loops, you can write many useful constructs. Another method of using this for loop statement iteration is you can go iterate with some known values also. Known values can be repeated with these particular statements. Now look into the one example here. The most some different applications also we can try to write. One more interesting syntax, say looping for a fixed number of iterations. Now, when I say fixed number of iterations, you can write for I in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is a set of variables. Look into our general syntax where I mentioned that set of values that can be assigned in I. This is very much equal to for I equal to 1 to 6. Okay, now do echo $I, then you write done. Now look into the content. This is very much equal to for I equal to 1 to 6. So content values are displayed. Same output, you can write it with the, say for example, space -m. Look into what happens here now. Output is displayed in a single line. Output can be displayed in a single line also. And sometimes you can put the output in a very user-friendlier way. Say, for example, instead of writing like this, echo n, then you can put it within the double quote. It is also possible. You can write the code in this fashion also. Now look into the way in which output is displayed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with the 3 dots. Okay. Again, you can make it more user-friendly. Echo, print one empty echo symbol. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For loop, initially for I, 1 is assigned and it will go inside the loop statement. It will print 3 dots and value of that I, that is 1. Next, I will repeat the same task with the value of 2, 3, 4, etc. So, one more variation of this, with this $I symbol, I will introduce one more command here. Say for example, sleep 1 second. Sleep command with the 1 second value. Now look into the way in which output is displayed. It takes 6 seconds. 1, 2, something like a counter, seconds counter. You can vary the value of count also. This instead of 1, you can give the value equal to 2 also. You can execute this program. Like this, you can write some with the for loop syntax. You can write some useful programs also. Also remember that you need not write the same series of numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. This value also you can change. Say you can write first number as 11. Sorry. See, then 11 is displayed. There is no meaning for order here, how value of I is incremented. The way in which we are entering here in the for line, in the same order the output will be stored. Our output will be, value will be assigned to I. It is not always 1, 2, 3, 4 like a counter, I equal to I plus 1, no. So because we are giving specific or the very static values to the I one after another in a list, those values are assigned to I. That is also you need to remember. Counting. And counting value can take up to any value. Instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you can go up to any numbers. Okay. This is about loop statement. And by combining this, we can come out with the many using this loop statement in a shell script. You can come out with many useful programs as well. Say for example, if you are using a file name, say with the file names here, let me go to that particular program. Yeah, here file name, you can club it together with any useful commands also. Say something like for each file compute word count for $file name, or now look into this. The content of the files are displayed here. Number of lines, number of the words, number of the characters in the file, along for all the files stored here in the directory is displayed in the current working directory. We are now presently in the backup directory. In the backup directory, these .bac files are stored. Its size is displayed here. Okay, that is the about for loop statements. Okay. And similar to the C programming constructs, similar to the C programming constructs, here also we can nest together for loops. When I say nesting a for loop statements, one for loop, the outer for loop statements for I equal to for I for I in for I in say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. You're starting your program statements here do, then you may say echo $I. Inside this you can start another for loop statements. Outer for loop is I, and then here you can say for j is equal to 7, or sorry, there is no equal to here, so j in 7, 8, 9, 10, etc. And then you can have a do statement for the inner for loop. You can write some other commands. I'll end the for loop. So this is the inner for loop, started here and ended here. This is the outer loop. Then again you can, for the outer loop also you can write some commands like wc dollar or whatever. Okay, of course it's not so these commands you can write it here, any shell command whatever you want you can write it here and end the statements. You can nest together for loop statements with this. Okay, this is about how the for loop works. Okay, the next important programming construct what we need to remember is if constructs. This also basically very much equal to C programming construct. If programming loop statements, for loop you understood now. Next, if program constructs or the checking condition with the if statements. So you need to go with the if statement, then after if command, then you write conditions, any conditions. Then there is a keyword called then. If then you write, go on writing commands in this way. Then after that, end of the statement is with the fi. Note down this command. This is the beginning of the if statement. If condition, then is the keyword. Then set of the commands within the if statements, command or commands. Then end it with the fi. This is the general syntax for if statement. Similarly, you have else statement also. So else statement goes in this way: if, then condition, if condition, then write then you will write commands, then write else, then write commands, and then you can end it with the fi. Okay, this is the if condition, this is the else if commands. Okay, if and else statement. Here also if statement starts with the if, ends with the fi, else. If you are familiar with the C program, the idea, meaning, everything is same with the slight changes in syntax. If statements. Okay, this is about if statements. And with the if statement also, you try to write some simple, very simple programs. Initially, you don't go for writing any complex programs. generally checking some condition. If you the largest of 3 numbers, largest of 2 numbers, how you can write a shell program. Think about it and try to write the shell programs. Okay, this is about loop statement and if statements. So anyway, I am going to stop today's class here. Okay, with this particular explanation. In the next class, I expect you people to practice this if statement program statements, whatever we learned so far in your Linux computer. If there is any doubt while executing, and now you just focus on only for loops and if statements, and if also else if statements. If statement, else if statements. If starts with the if, ends with the fi. If condition, then set of statements, then after that else, then again you can go up to any length, like you can see. You can nest one after another if statements also. Finally, if statement ends with f as I, fi command. This is about the basics of looping construct and decision making if statements. This defines the sequence of programs, how a program sequence or execution happens while executing a script. So if there is any doubt, I will take some questions, 1 or 2 questions. Otherwise, I will stop the class for today. Any doubts? Now, the more important point is that you need to remember, you need to practice. Don't try to mug up anything. Try to write very simple shell scripts, shell programs, and work with these commands. Different program. In the next class, we will study about switch case statements, conditional jump statements. Okay. And other some useful programming constructs. Yeah.
Hello. So is there multiple like elif statements? Like you want to put multiple conditions?
Yeah, it is possible. Multiple else condition, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is possible. But for that, we have a better alternative with the switch case.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So like in C, it's this logic is very equal to C. Say switch, the case statements are there that can avoid nested if statements. Yeah, any other doubts?
So how do we run a for loop for particular number of times instead of typing them manually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
You try to write decision-making statements now. So what changes the value of I, right? For I equal to?
Yes.
Yeah, for I equal to set some value. Inside the loop statement, try to change that value and try that.
Okay.
Okay, those things you try. Like in C languages, how we can break from the loop, how we can continue in a loop, all these instructions. And remember that very exact programming syntax of C also works in for loops. For I equal to 1, I less than or equal to 10, then semicolon I plus plus. That command also works. Right? Okay. So
Okay, sir.
yeah, so you may, in that case, if your requirement is that, you can use that as a particular feature of C. Same programming construct or the general syntax of C for the for loop. Same thing also you can use with these particular statements.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Any other doubts? Okay then, happy weekend. I will stop here. See you in the next class.